Hi everybody, welcome back for another week of healthy meal planning. I'm Elizabeth, the dietitian. I'm going to start once again by thanking everyone for making my first week such a success. I got quite great questions and pictures, and it really helps me to be motivated to continue with more. I want to thank you, thank you, thank you. So this week we're going to talk about lunches. We're going to be doing some healthy lunch planning. Today we're going to have turkey salad lettuce wraps. Now you don't have to do turkey salad. You could do chicken salad or tuna salad. You could even do any kind of sandwich you would do in a lettuce wrap instead. And we're also, as a side to that, we are going to have a veggie pasta salad as well. And we're going to make those today very easy. Something I'm going to start doing based on the suggestion of a very smart person who's been watching is I'm going to start putting the directions on how to make the stuff in my description as well. So check that out too. Now, along with all of this, of course, comes a little bit of nutrition education. So last week we talked a ton about portions, correct? And I'm not gonna talk about portions. Well, we're always gonna talk about portions, but I'm not gonna go into this in huge detail this week. Because of the questions that I got, the biggest question I got was about calories and why am I not talking about calories and are calories important and all of those other things. So I thought we might have a little talk about calories. We are going to come back to this because our different food groups do affect our calories as well. So let's start really quickly, just super fast, to talk about calories so you understand a little bit of where I'm coming from. Now here's the thing, a calorie is more than a calorie. So if a food or drink has calories in it, which is like everything except for water. So if a food or drink has calories in it, there's 3 different types of calories. There's actually 4 different types of calories. And each calorie has its own job, right? And I'm really simplifying this to make it easier to understand, right? So calories, 4 different types of calories, and they each have their own jobs. So there's carb calories, and carb calories go to be our fuel. And then there's protein calories, and protein calories go towards fixing and repairing our muscles. And then there's fat calories. And fat calories are actually quite functional. Fats have some really important working jobs in our body. One really important job of fat is your brain. Your brain is something like 90% cholesterol, which is a type of fat. So, my patients are sick of hearing this joke, but if anyone ever calls you a fathead, thank them, they think you're super smart. So, another job of fat is fat makes bile. So we can't digest food without fat. Fat also makes our hormones, and the fat that's under our skin makes vitamin D when the sunlight hits our skin. So fat does have some jobs. And then the 4th type of calorie is alcohol. Now, alcohol does not have a job, so alcohol is quite destructive in our body. It's not very helpful at all. So, of these calories, they each have their own job. So, if we are eating a food or drinking a drink that has calories, they are one of these types of calories. And for simplicity's sake, I'm going to say that they all do their job, and then they're not cross-trained. So once our gas tank is full from eating enough carbs, the extra carbs don't get put into any other job. They get turned into storable fat, right? Once we eat enough protein to fix and repair our muscles, all extra gets turned into storable fat. Same for the fat. Once we eat enough fat to do our brain and digest our food, all extra gets turned into storable fat. Like I said, alcohol does not have a job. That may be a conversation for a different day because it just works so differently than the other calories. So when we are making meals, we have to make sure that we do get a little bit of each calorie so that each one can do its job. Now, there's a couple theories out there that suggest that we may only metabolize a certain amount of food at a time. So if we only metabolize this amount of food, then we need this amount of food. But if we skipped a meal, and since we skipped a meal and we're hungry and we eat this amount of food, that doesn't benefit us because our body still only metabolizes and uses this amount at a time. So that's why I'm really big on making sure we get a little bit of protein at each meal, making sure we get a little bit of everything at each meal. Now, let's go back to our food groups, because as we look at all of these things on this plate, they all have calories, right? Now, starches, primarily carb calories, so we have fuel, right? Now, the interesting thing about starches is there's a big difference between our individual portions in a standard serving size. And the standard serving size of starches is really small. It's like 1/3 of a cup, right? And every 1/3 of a cup, though, of starch offers us 80 carb calories, okay? So, and then for fruits and vegetables, they also have calories, right? Do you know what kind of calories fruits have? Carbs, right? And the types of calories in vegetables, we don't think about this oftentimes, but it's also carb as well. But it's so low that we don't bother worrying about vegetables, especially because fruits, the standard serving size is 1/2 cup to a cup, depending on the type of fruit it is, and it's 60 calories. And vegetables, though, the standard serving size of vegetables is 1/2 cup cooked or a cup raw, because they shrink when they're cooked. 25 carb calories, right? So there's a huge difference between, remember last week we talked about wanting volume of food, that we may want the same volume of food every day. So our body doesn't really care if we're getting 50 calories from a cup of cooked vegetables or 240 calories from a cup of cooked starch. We just need to shift to something a little bit lower calorie. Now, protein, of course, provides us that protein calorie and that fat calorie. So I feel like I'm doing a lot of talking and not a lot of cooking, so I want to wrap this up so we can get to our lunch. But the one thing I want to kind of address today, because what's not a food group in here, is fat. And fat calories, they are important too, right? So we call carbs and protein calories lean calories, and we call fat calories fat calories. So lean calories, here's the thing. If we had a gram of lean, that would be oh no, my pen died. That would be 4 calories. Every gram of lean is 4 calories. There we go, got it to work. Okay, 1 gram lean is 4 calories. Every gram of fat, 9 calories. So here's the thing. Take the same weight, 1 gram lean, 1 gram fat, and the fat has twice as many calories as the lean. So I think it's important to make sure we keep our fat calories limited, just because they add up so quickly. They are twice as calorie dense, more than twice as calorie dense than a lean. So I think it is important to keep our fat calories limited. So with that said, let's talk about our meal we're going to have today. So like I said, we're going to have turkey salad lettuce wraps. So I do have some turkey that I just took out of the freezer, and I'm going to chop that up pretty small to put into my lettuce wrap. And for my vegetable pasta salad, I already cut up all my vegetables. I had some, and I just used whatever was getting ready to whatever I needed to use in my refrigerator. So I have some tomato in there. I think I had like 1/3 of a tomato in my refrigerator. I'm not sure how that happened, but it did. And I have a little bit of a red pepper. I had 1 head of broccoli that I needed to use up, so I cut that up. And I had some baby carrots that I like julienned to make them small enough for my salad. I just like that. I didn't want to pull the turkey out too soon, just because I don't want it to, I don't know. Okay, so I'm cutting up my turkey, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this with mayonnaise. Now, I don't use light mayonnaise, I use regular mayonnaise, but I'm going to cut the fat in it by replacing half the mayonnaise with a fat-free Greek yogurt. All right. So I'm going to take a tablespoon of this. Now, just two really quickly as well. Once again, we're going to talk about the fat. So the serving size of this is 1 tablespoon. Now, 1 tablespoon of mayonnaise offers us 11 grams of protein. Now, when we had talked last time about protein and, 11 grams of fat. Now, when we had talked last time about protein and how I try to turn it into something I can relate it to, and the protein, we did 7 grams as 1 egg. When I look at fat, I know went over this really quickly last week, but when I think of fat, the first thing that pops into my head is butter. So every 4 grams of fat, that's what we find in a teaspoon of butter. So I just turn everything into teaspoons of butter. Now, 4 grams is 1 teaspoon, so 11 divided by 4 is almost 3 teaspoons of butter. So when I have a tablespoon of mayonnaise, it is like having 3 teaspoons of butter. So that's why I don't want to go overboard on my mayonnaise. So I'm going to stick to my 1 tablespoon of butter. My 1 tablespoon practically, right? Because 3 teaspoons is a tablespoon. I'm going to stick to my 1 tablespoon of mayonnaise, and then I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of this fat-free Greek yogurt, so that I could still get that mayonnaise-y taste without all the and I just cut the fat in half. Because if I did 2 tablespoons, it would be like having close to 6 teaspoons of butter. And to me, I think that's a little excessive. So now I'm going to mix up my turkey in it. And I think that looks like turkey salad. So now I'm going to put this in my lettuce wrap. Now, once again, remember last week from my portions, I'm looking for that 3 ounces at every meal. So when we're done, I am going to add a little more turkey. I didn't cut up enough. So I'm going to just add a little bit more. Actually, no, that might be good. It looks good. Okay, now for my pasta salad. What I did was I made some pasta last night, and I portioned out a half a cup. It was really quite sad. It's not a whole lot. So I'm going to take my half a cup. It's like 3 whole pieces. No, I'm just kidding. It's a little more than that. And then I'm going to take my vegetables, and you'll notice how much bigger my vegetables are than my pasta was. And I'm going to mix that together. Now, I'm not going to use mayonnaise this time. I'm going to put a homemade Italian dressing I made. I am going to measure it out because I made this with oil and vinegar, and I am going to measure it out to the 2 tablespoon serving size that is generally recommended for salads. And I'm going to mix that up. Oh, this looks delicious, guys. And I'm going to put that on the side, and then I'm going to show you how lovely my plate is. And I definitely have a cup of vegetables here, and I have my protein, and I have a half a cup of starch. Okay, let me clean this up so you don't have to see the trash of my making of the meal to go there. And this is going to look like a great, let's flip this around. Oh, hello, guys. Hello. Oh, no. There is my lunch right there. We got the pasta. You can see the pasta and the pasta salad. And we have the wrap. Okay? So, that's our really nice healthy meal today. Our lunch. And we will make lunch again on Wednesday. Once again, like and share. repost, post your questions, post your pictures, post your ideas. I'm looking forward to hearing about it all. I hope you have a very wonderful day today, and I look forward to seeing you all on Wednesday. Thanks.